By the end of this video, you're going to be able to use and build with the confirmation action, part of ARIVE's automation workflow actions, to have your users confirm something before it happens. Let's get into it.
Okay, so we're in our test automation here, and I'm going to pick new loan is created as our initial trigger just for demonstration purposes. The first thing you have to know about using that confirmation dialog is it's not its own action. It is hidden inside the enforce requirements action. So you're going to notice when you click on it, one, it changes to requirements, confusing, and two, you have two options, the little buttons, fields that you can add and confirmations you can add. Now, fields you might already know about. This is the fields that you check to make sure that they are filled in before it will allow the next action to happen. Otherwise, it stops and it throws a notification telling you, hey, you do not have the required fields to fill in. Confirmation is the newer one that's recently added. And the nice thing about it is it's going to give you a hint about how to use it. When you hover over it, you're going to see, oh, hey, I can only use this with specific triggers. It doesn't work for all triggers. So it has to be either the loan status trigger, loan action trigger, custom field trigger, or loan tracker trigger. Now, these are important because it leaves out some certain situations where you might want to use confirmation, but you can't. And understandably so once you see it in action. So for our purposes, let's do loan status change, and we're going to select all. And the other thing we're going to do, because we're testing this out, is one thing I always recommend for folks who build automations, one of the first things to do is create a custom field just accessible by admins called test loan. That's a true false, and use that as initial rule criteria you add in when building rules, and that way you can test it on test files without making something live for the whole organization. And then once you have it live and working the way you like, you can remove that when test file equals true, and update it, and then it's live to the company. That's a good way to walk this through and test it out. So for me, I'm going to go to my is test loan custom field and make sure true, so that this will only work on my loan files where the is test loan is equal to the custom field I created. And you're going to see, right, I have the appropriate status. This is one of the triggers that's supported, and now it will let me add a confirmation. Notice this isn't tied to a field requirement. It doesn't explicitly tell you this. One of the things I want to clarify, you can use confirmation without any field requirements on it, but it is still hidden inside that enforce requirements action. So when you click on it, you can only have one per action. And notice too, it doesn't let you stack these actions, which is disappointing. But hopefully ARIVE will open that a little bit up in the future. Here's your confirmation message. You have a little bit of formatting, which is great, including a list and links. So you can pass links in this section, which is really nice. The various notifications, either stop with message or warning with message, we cannot yet pass links or do any text formatting yet. Hopefully that will come in the future. It also is giving us the ability to add merge tags, which is nice, so that we can dynamically fill in this message that we populate. But well, for this test purposes, we'll fill this in. Right, this is a test confirmation message. And that's going to work just fine for us. So, right, when the loan status changes, I've selected all the loan statuses. So it's any time it moves from one loan status to another, and that the test loan file is equal to true, this confirmation message will fire. And I'm going to add my rule, and then we're going to jump over to my test file, and I'll show you what it actually looks like in practice. Okay, I'm in my test file now. I'm going to be moving my file to the next milestone from loan setup to disclosure date. And if this works, we'll get our confirmation action. Now, let's take a quick look at this because there's several identifiers on this that I want to point out about the way that this functions. So you notice, title is always confirm action. You cannot currently set this. It has that little robot icon. It also is going to reference the rule number that's firing, which doesn't mean much to the end users, but is nice when you are testing it or troubleshooting. It gives you a little option to troubleshoot. And you see, here's our message. And we have this box here that will scale appropriately to the content. So if we're passing in a list, if we're passing in links, things of that kind, right? We have the ability, we have some space to compose here. And notice the options that it's giving us: cancel and continue. So what we're going to find is if we hit cancel, it stops the change that is happening. In the same way that required fields will stop a certain action or change on a field from happening, or the excuse me, stop with warning will stop a certain action or save from occurring and giving a notification. This gives the user the ability to make the choice if this is going to continue or not. And this gets at the heart of the use case of the confirmation and of the confirm action, which is a situation where you want to advise the end user of something, and they make a choice if they want to proceed or if they want to stop. So if I hit cancel, this does not go through, and I step back to where I was before it tried to execute the save and the rule was triggered. On the flip side, if I hit continue, the action is completed, the save will occur, and things will move forward as indicated.
Here's the part where I want to hear from you. Tell me about how you're using the confirmation action in your Arrive workflows at your org. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below to make sure you get more Arrive content as it comes up. See you next time.